Hey McKinney, Dr. Matt here. We're just going to jump right in, all right? Trouble paying attention, controlling impulsive behaviors, and being overly active. These are all symptoms that so commonly get tested and bucketed into the diagnosis of ADHD. Having talked with hundreds of parents about the diagnosis and the natural ways to help it, there is a lot of confusion on if a child actually has ADHD. What are the causes and how can we help them without medication? I hope you heard that, without medication. So in this video, we will look at ADHD through the lens different than just a diagnosis. We're going to unpack it to see those symptoms and then how the brain and the nervous system influence these symptoms of the body to bring about that attention, that focus, and that impulsive control, okay? So we're going to go back to the main root cause, which help truly make sense of it and find the answers and address those difficulties, okay? So parents who are looking for a non-medication, drug-free option, they may have heard from a teacher, school administrator, counselor that medication is the only or best option, but it is not congruent with their beliefs, right? They're looking for something different. They understand the body is self-healing and self-regulating, and what can we do to get it there, okay? Additionally, many dads, and sometimes moms too, attribute ADHD symptoms as genetic. I struggle with this so much, it makes sense that my child does too. Does that, you know what I mean? That it just ties in because dad probably went through a lot of the same things. And we get this in our office all the time. Dad's struggling with the same thing. So this video is designed to look at ADHD through a different lens, all right? Different lenses, all right? Because ADHD isn't just a struggle in the brain. It's the nervous system's input to the brain. Plus, ADHD isn't just hyperactivity, and it can turn into a huge energy drain as we get older, especially later in elementary, teenage, and young adult years. And we've seen this in our practice over and over again. Kids that struggle through elementary, teenage, and then are getting into college or their career are still struggling and don't know what to do. And they're looking for help. So let's jump in. ADHD isn't just a busy, overwhelmed brain. The body can be overwhelming the brain too, causing the entire central nervous system to be in the fight or flight mode. So one's going this way and this way, they're both fighting against each other. The question most parents have is, where does this stress from the body or internal environment come from? Okay, the quick answer is from 4 key stressors that are often overlooked, all right? So the first one here is a high stress and high-risk pregnancy. This puts mom and baby from the beginning into a sympathetic dominant state, fight or flight, that shifts more of their body into that fight or flight or protective state. So right from the get-go, they're in that fight or flight, gloves up, okay? Number 2, birth intervention, okay? Such as forceps, vacuum extractions, C-sections, or even induction places a physical component of stress. Most commonly in the upper neck and shoulders, which overwhelms that neuromotor development, which is crucial in those early years, right? Which then, this is what we see it leads right into. And that number 3 here is like fussy or colicky as an infant with reflux or constipation struggles that continues to overwhelm our automatic or autonomic nervous system, okay? Which then we see frequent ear and or respiratory infection. So ears, respiratory, and this all is before the age of 3. And along with antibiotic use, further adding stress to that autonomic system and the vagus nerve, which is that brain-gut-brain connection, okay? Did you catch that? Brain-gut-brain. It's sending and receiving information constantly, okay? So when the nervous system gets overtaxed and overworked with these 4 stressors, the signals in the brain are full in protection, fight or flight. So the response in every area of the brain. So every area of the brain is now in fight or flight. The cerebrum, okay? Motor center, which causes kids to not be able to sit still, okay? The midbrain, this is the limbic system, specifically the hippocampus, which affects focus and attention. And then the prefrontal cortex, regions that affect socialization, situational awareness, right? And the ability to self-calm and regulate, right? So now you've got a bigger perspective of what's really going on behind the scenes. It is not just, okay, ADHD isn't just hyperactivity. And like an overwhelmed body and brain can cause brain fog. focus and attention issues, and if not addressed, can be a huge energy drain for our kids. That's why they're exhausted. That's why you're seeing so many meltdowns at the end of the day. They've got nothing left. So this is actually quite common to see with ADHD, especially if they struggle with all of 4 causes above, to be more wound up and tired out instead of hyperactive. They're literally exhausted. I see kids, when I look at their EMG, their scan that measures their energy, I see yellow. Yellow tells me they're exhausted. This is one of the biggest things that we see over and over again. So this happens to, one of the main reasons this happens is because of this, all right? So when the system is in sympathetic dominance for a long time, high energy, low sleep, which is low recovery, constant stress, it eventually burns out and demotivates, creates tiredness, and grumpiness starts to set in. Okay, 3, yes, genetics can influence these behaviors. They play a huge factor, okay? But not nearly as much as we think, all right? The nervous system, the vagus nerve, and its development play a much greater role, especially earlier and often that there's been any kind of stress to the vagus nerve and the autonomic nervous system, it plays a huge role. All right, so in studies by Dr. Bruce Lipton, a PhD biologist who studies epigenetics, it is estimated that no more than 15% of our genetic code determines our outcomes. Okay, this means that 85% is up to us, influenced by our internal and external environment. This is incredibly encouraging for me because meaning that even though dad may struggle with attention and focus too, it doesn't mean their kids has to, right? Do you get it? I know. So that 1585 really is a big wake-up call. Putting it all together, kids struggling with ADHD most commonly have a significantly imbalanced and dysfunctional nervous system, all right? So this condition is known as dysautonomia. I know, big word, but it's all right, dysautonomia. And the most common presentation is an overactive, excessive response with that sympathetic or fight or flight, gas pedal nervous system. And just like that, it's an underactive, understimulated parasympathetic, no brake pedal side of the brain and nervous system. So we have all this gas, no brake. We have got a car that's sliding around the track, all right? So our work as a pediatric chiropractors focuses on addressing the subluxation or stress and vagus nerve dysautonomic challenges directly, getting that sympathetic nervous system, okay, unstuck. And in turn, activating and stimulating that parasympathetic or the brake pedal side of the nervous system with each and every adjustment. While each individual adjustment is able to stimulate and activate the nervous system in a certain way, it really takes time and repetition to make long-lasting changes with the brain and autonomic nervous system. And for those of you that work out, you know this. How long did it take your brain and body to get synced up so they knew the benefits of what exercise was going to do? When you've changed how you're eating something or moving something, it takes time and repetition for your body to get there. So most parents and caregivers understand this, but most parents and caregivers begin to report positive changes usually in those first few weeks for younger children and over a matter of few months for those older children because they've been stuck in that pattern longer. And many other experiences, almost some instantaneous changes, just as I did with my little ones, all right? So the term for this change via time and repetition is neuroplasticity. And it's a natural and normal part of the brain development in kids, and also extremely important in the recovery from traumatic birth and brain injuries. The brain can relearn. It can't be rewired. It has to, otherwise we wouldn't be able to adapt. We're doing it all the time, we're doing it every day. So we start first by taking an in-depth, personalized case history into every child, and then the most exciting aspect of the work for me is that we can directly measure your child's subluxation patterns or stress patterns and the dysautonomic patterns that are existing in their system via an incredible piece of technology called the Insight scans. These scans are incredible. ADHD, it just lights up all over the place on there. So this is the most essential step in helping a child with ADHD to find that drug-free care option, as it allows us to narrow down to the foundational root cause and elements that we've discussed through this entire video. And if you're checking boxes already as we've been going through this video and you sat down and watched this whole thing, hopefully you're enjoying a great glass of wine or a beverage of choice, and you're really just kind of going, oh my goodness, this is my kid. So for more information, I'm attaching this article for you to share, okay? Remember, there are medication-free options available, and ADHD isn't genetically predetermined. And with it rooted in the nervous system, it can be changed long-term. So first, please ask questions. Leave a comment. Send us a DM. Do something, okay? Carrier pigeon. Write it on a turtle. Get it to us, all right? Second, please share with other parents and family on those Facebook groups or Instagram. Get it out there because they are asking the same questions you are. Third, take the action step of calling us. Come on in. Get scanned. Find out what's going on for you, even if it's just for you. But I know you're coming in for your kiddo. You know they're stuck. You know they need help. You know you want to find out where that dysautomatic pattern is existing. Where are they locked in and where's that stress stuck on? Let's get that vagus nerve, let's get that brake pedal that God designed for your body to be working so your kid can do this naturally, all right? We're here for you guys. Ask your questions, reach out, read the articles. We got more content information than you could ever imagine, and we want to flood you with it so you can be here and know that we've got you. We're the best there is at this. We're going to take care of you all the way through. I'm Dr. Matt Davis, Reformed Family Chiropractic, and I can't wait to see you.